Yay, another Saturday video, and this time we're going to be bringing something a bit different. And I say different, I did the raid version of this another time. So this is actually the dungeon encounters, and this is everything that is involved in Season 19 at the minute. And with me, I actually have Ashuri, who I play quite regularly with on Destiny. So say hello.
Hello.
Very enthusiastic, as you can see. So we're just going to go through literally every single dungeon encounter that is in Destiny 2, rate it basically as a tier list, but I've obviously changed it, so there's 10 out of 10 at the top, which is like the best ones. Memorable is anything that can be, you think fondly of it, basically. Is just, it was a slog to go through, no likey, you didn't like it for a reason. And boring is just, we don't know why this encounter is in the game. I've tried to sort this out in list form, and to you watching the video, obviously, there's going to be like a pop-up version of it, so you'll see it a lot more clearer than what we've got, but we're going to go through it one by one. So, the Duality encounter, which is the entrance. What did you reckon to this?
I'm going to be honest with you. Half of these I'm not going to remember.
The entrance,
the puzzle, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the puzzle
Like,
at the very start of the dungeon where you shoot the bell to go through the grate.
I actually thought it was like super clever when
the
we
mechanics.
first ever did it. Yeah, when we first ever did it, I thought it was like such a cool little puzzle. I'm kind of meh with it now, in all honesty.
It kind of like had some star power when it first came out, and then it's just it fell off after that.
It wore off very quickly. Like you could quite honestly change that dungeon, take out that bit, and just make it a jump puzzle. And I wouldn't think anything of it. I'd be like, fair enough.
Yeah, so shall we go with then?
I think is fair.
Is fair. We'll go with Yeah. So, Gahlran himself, the first boss of the Duality dungeon, the bloody nightmare to deal with when we first faced him.
He was, yeah.
Literally a nightmare as well.
Yeah, literally.
I don't know about you, but for this one, I actually quite liked the boss encounter. I'm quite happy putting memorable in for Gahlran, to be honest with you.
Yeah, what I liked about it was we run it as a 2, didn't we? We run that dungeon as a pair.
Yeah, we ran as a duo and then a trio.
That was one of the bits where I was like, thought we was going to really struggle with. But when you work out how to do it properly, it's actually very easy. And boss damage wise,
I wouldn't say easy.
We did get it down to a fine art. I'm not going to lie.
We did get it down eventually, yeah.
And I honestly thought that was going to be like the most trouble, but it wasn't. And when it comes to boss damage, I thought we did quite well with it as well. So yeah, memorables, like the thing that I'm trying not to confuse it with is enjoyable, and you've put that memorable. It's definitely memorable, 100%.
Yeah. So if I were to put enjoyable down on the list, then 90% of the things that would go into memorable won't be in memorable.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why I didn't go for enjoyable. So next one is the vault encounter. Sorry, not the vault encounter. The statues. As a puzzle mechanic.
Boring.
You don't like it at all.
It's pointless.
I'm kind of okay with it because it's something different, but I do get where you're coming from with it being boring.
They could have done more with it, but the fact that it doesn't change week by week,
like randomized, it's just the same over and over.
Is the problem, because once you've run it like 3 times and then you've realised that it's the same direction every time, you then just go, right, you've got to go and do that one once, and then that one twice. And I literally think that is it. And we worked it out really quick. It was only working out what direction they actually move towards.
Yeah, if it was clockwise or anti-clockwise.
Yeah. And then once we worked that out, it was like piece of piss. But again, I just feel like it's boring.
Okay.
If it changed weekly, it would have been an
Yeah. The fact that it's always the same is boring.
Yeah.
Okay. Encounter after that is actually the vault fight. So the 3 mini bosses and the mechanics obviously to get to the mini boss or the mini bosses.
That was a pain.
It was a pain, but I'm going to be honest with you. If there wasn't enjoyable, I would actually put it in enjoyable.
Yeah, I did kind of like it. I'm not going to lie. Because it was semi-challenging as well.
Yeah, it was quite challenging, especially at the start when we first were running it. I remember this being another one that was really difficult to get around. But when you get it down, again, it just goes with emotions. And there is an element of, I'll say surprise is probably the best word for it. Because anything can happen when it comes to where the ads spawn and where they could be when you return.
True.
If you haven't got if you're not running a 3-man, you literally get met with like a sea of ads as soon as you come back from getting the banner buffs.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. Are you saying 10 out of 10 low, or are you saying memorable?
I'll go memorable. It's not 10 out of 10 to me. A 10 out of 10 would be... Yeah, a 10 out of 10 is something that blew me away when I first played it. So I'd put that into memorable as well. Right, the Crypt space, which is just after the vault. This is basically where you're running up the side of the wall when the crypts come out the side of it to basically get to Caiatl at the end, and all the jumping bits in between it.
That sort of stuff is just like the go-between, isn't it? It's just like
that's basically the movement between it all.
Yeah,
I'm actually going to put this one as no likey for me.
Yeah,
because
that's fair.
The only reason I'm saying that is because the first puzzle encounter, the first jumping puzzles that you encounter with the bells, that is far more interesting than just this.
Yeah, because there is also enemies as well. There's barely any enemies on this bit.
Yeah, there's ads to fight, there's a lot of pillars to jump up onto, then you got the bells to actually deal with as well. Whereas this one is literally a few enemies, activate some crypts that come out the wall. Even before that, it's just running around, really. There's not really anything amazing in it. Now then, Caiatl, the final boss of Duality. I'm going to lie, this is a strong contender for 10 out of 10 for me. Because I actually really enjoyed this fight.
You didn't show it when we did it.
No, I got a lot of frustration when I did it, but looking back on it, I know I enjoyed it.
I must admit, it is a good boss fight, and again, it's challenging. Even if you're running it now, it's still a challenge.
Yeah, it's still not. You can't just literally run into it blind and expect to beat it. You can't have to prepare for it.
And it did take us...
I think it was 2 hours, 3 hours.
Yeah, our first run, and I'm pretty sure a lot of the time was on this boss battle.
Yeah, it's pretty much about 60% of the time. Even when we ran it as a trio and got around to it, I think it still took us 2 hours to be the boss.
This is one of them where if you had a spot between memorable and 10 out of 10, it would 100% go in there.
Yeah, I'd happily land there.
So on the fence. Do you know what? Just to say that the video's got something, let's put it in 10 out of 10. I'm happy for it to go in there.
Don't say that.
Well, we don't know if we're going to get another one. We might do, but we might not.
Okay.
I'm fair to go in 10 out of 10 because it's definitely better than the other two, like, boss battles, if you like.
I'm happy with Caiatl being 10 out of 10. It was a really good encounter for me. But with Duality being done, we're moving on to Grasp of Avarice is the next one. So the entrance to Grasp of Avarice, where you're basically shooting out the loot cave to get the engrams. I'm going with for this one.
I would say no likey.
No likey? Well, no likey.
Yeah, I get that it's like nostalgic to a lot of players because it was like the loot cave and all this stuff. But for people that don't get it, all you're doing is shooting a load of enemies to unlock a bit of ground, basically.
No, actually, I do kind of agree with you on that because I'm thinking even if it is nostalgic, it does wear off eventually.
Yeah.
So it's not going to hold a lot of weight. At the start when it came out, probably very nostalgic.
Then again, I could agree with you and go because it is quite good to just avoid grenading and just watch everything explode. I must admit.
True. Or a thunder spear.
That never gets boring. So.
Or seeing you fly through with a thunder crash because you thought, why not?
Yeah, I have done that. I'll agree with you and go because of that.
Yeah, it's not very interesting as a mechanic, but the amount of things you can do with it to make it stupid and funny, it warrants it being
That's it.
It kind of saves it in a way. So you're welcome, Bungie. Your player saving your bloody dungeon encounter. Alright, the next one. I'm basically grouping all the in-between parts into one with this one. So anytime there's traps or, let's say, the mechanic in between where you go against, but in between the ogre and, no, just before the ogre, sorry, where you've got to activate the panels.
The doors and stuff.
Doors, panels, trap floors, anything like that.
Okay.
It basically falls into this.
Here. I might shock you here. I'm going to say memorable.
I was actually thinking the same thing, so you've not shocked me.
And the only reason why is because the first couple of times that we ever did this,
it's funny
with the trap doors and stuff. Hilarious.
Yes, it was very hilarious.
So I'm happy to put that in memorable. That was good.
I completely agree. It's Grasp of Avarice is still to this day the only dungeon that's had any form of proper traps, and they're not like traps you can see from a mile off. They're just like innocently hidden, which kind of it gives it a good pirate feel to it, which was the whole point of the dungeon. So
it's like press this button to open the door, and then it's like not
spikes come out and annihilate you.
Yeah, it's like okay, yeah, I kind of like that.
Yeah, I'm happy to put that in memorable as well. So the ogre boss in the Grasp of Avarice dungeon. The bane of my existence, I call him, because he's killed me so many times when I tried to do this solo. Probably put him in... No, I'm going to put him in no likey, actually. I was going to go here.
I was gonna say no likey.
At the end of the day, it is just a standard ogre. The mechanics to actually beat him aren't that special, and on
No.
top of that, he does seem a bit finicky for me. Like,
It also gets very boring very fast with the amount of times that we do it as well.
yes, it's very mundane when you actually have to just rotate between one side
Like,
and the other.
first 1 or 2 times that we run that, it's like it is literally an eh. Now when you're running it, I'll be honest, I'd even go as far as saying boring, but I won't go that far. No like is fair. Like it's
Like I say, I don't think it warrants boring because it's still
no.
decently tough to beat. But now
It's
let's just go through the notions.
It's still an actual fight. It's not just like a puzzle in between or whatever.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's standard ogre and it's whatever.
Yeah, I'll go with that and no likey for this. Right.
No like.
Sparrow section of the Grasp of Avarice. I'm gonna go with believe it or not.
I wasn't saying no likey.
Just because I always shoot past with always on time.
I haven't got a problem with that. Right? I haven't got much of a problem with that. But try it with just a normal Sparrow, like a large majority of players have got.
Oh right, yeah, I'm with
and
you.
I think that becomes hell on earth.
I wouldn't say hell on earth, but it does become a lot more difficult.
And let's be honest, it's not massively enjoyable. Basically, it's just Bungie taking the absolute piss out of us by saying, "Oh, this is what Sparrow racing was like," but we're not going to bring it back. It's like, really? Like,
just give us the goddamn Sparrow racing.
Yeah, literally, just give us Sparrow racing, man. What are you doing? Like, teasing it. Like, the entire dungeon to me is just like a whole nostalgia trip of like Bungie's Destiny.
Yeah, fair enough.
and then it's just like, yeah. By the way, we could do this, but we're not gonna. It's like, yeah, I'm no likey with it. But if you want to go, then you know,
no, I will put it in
your video.
I will put it into no likey because, like you said, I always use always on time for this section, so it's arguably a lot easier for me.
It's obviously like I'm using a normal Sparrow, and like I know I'm the one that will open the door for you to then just shoot across, and I'll obviously pick up any like any of the activators, to keep the time
keep the time up
that you miss. I think once I did try to properly run it like alongside you, and you get so far ahead.
Yeah,
I like look at it and go, if I was running this on my own with a normal Sparrow, I don't think I'd be able to do it. Like genuinely, I don't think I'd be able to do it.
Yeah,
I know there are players that do it, but it's like, nah, man.
Yeah, so it's definitely doable, but I don't think Bungie calibrated it properly when they made it. But no, I'll put this into no likey, definitely. Right. Next one, which is the balloon thing in the sky, and you're shooting across the platforms to kill the servitors. Boring for me.
This is a funny one for me because it is boring and very time consuming. Like the large majority of the dungeon is spent at this time because obviously you kind of have to use the things to get over to other places and whatever. But then at the same time, I find it memorable because half the time I'm thunder crashing from place to place.
Yeah, you're thunder crashing across platforms. I do remember.
Yeah, it's not boring; it's tedious.
Yeah, okay.
It doesn't need to be as long as they've made it.
No,
that's the thing.
If I made that a 2-phase thing, I think I would be happy with that.
Even a 3-phase would make sense.
Yeah, even a 3-phase actually would make a lot more sense.
If there was 3 bombs, that would make more sense. But you went with 4.
Yeah, 4's where you're starting to stretch it a bit. Yeah, I'm prepared to compromise and say no likey.
No, you can put it in boring, but the word that I would have used would be more it's tedious than boring. So yeah,
are we going to no likey? Okay, boring.
Boring's fine.
Boring. We're just going to stay in boring.
Boring.
Right, final boss. Can't remember his name. It's very
It's very
It's very
Yeah, I mean, first time you did it, it was probably quite an enjoyable one, but
it was fairly enjoyable, but
yeah,
nothing incredible.
It's not great.
We'll go
He's a very close 1-phase for players like us as well, because we're not the greatest, but we're okay.
You're the best
around.
Nothing's ever gonna get you. Next one, so Pit of Heresy. The one that you don't remember at all.
No, I'm going to be brutally honest with you, right? Pit of Heresy, because we did it like a couple weeks back. I hate this dungeon. I hate it in its entirety. I'm not even going to lie to you.
Okay, everything into no liking.
Everything's going to go boring for me, but let's do this.
Okay. So the entrance where you got to try and find out the 3 symbols, and then you go into the symbols and kill the knight, the witch, and the
This is an air.
An air.
Yeah, 'cause it's kind of like it's
going through the notions again, kind of thing.
It's like the grasp of Avarice. You know, the bit with the bombs, but we've put in boring. It's like that. You have to go from one place to one place to one place. And obviously, if you've got 3 players doing it, then each one can take one. Then you can speed it up, and that's fine. But I just find it's like. I just don't care.
It's nothing special. I will agree with you and put it in there.
The thing is, this entire dungeon is just air to me, so it's, you know.
Okay. The Ogre Caves.
Hate it.
Hate it.
Hate it. I actually really do hate this. To me, everything looks the same, number one.
That's kind of point of the dungeon.
I know I've not got many runs of this, but it all looks the same to me, which really annoys me. And then I hate the fact that Destiny has made enemies that I can't kill. Like, that annoys me. So you've put
God forbid you do a raid.
Yeah, you've put ogres in that can smack me about and do what they want, but I can't do anything back to them. It's like, really? And they spawn camp you. I'm like, no, leave me alone.
They do spawn camp, yeah. But I don't like it because, similarly, it's because of the ogres, actually. It's like, yeah, they're a threat and you need to be careful when running around. But when you get to a certain point where you ran it enough times, you just get bored of it and they become a nuisance, if anything. They're not actually worrying or anything. So I'm happy putting that in no likey as well. Right. So I have a feeling you'll say no likey to this one as well. It's the I can't remember what it's called. It's like that Spire thing where you have to defend the circle.
I hate this because you give me the worst job in the world, and I hate it.
I give you a choice, and you just do it.
I hate it. Because I'm the stupid Titan, so I'm happy to sit on a circle, but it's really annoying. I hate it. I want to put this in boring. I don't care. I hate this dungeon. I want them to take it out. I don't like it.
After 3 years, Bungie removes an encounter because you say you don't like it.
It's probably got something to do with the fact that I just can't do it. But just take it out. I just hate it.
Right, I was going to put it in air because it's basically what air is for me. It's nothing amazing, but because you have such a strong disdain for it, I'll put it in no likey.
I'm even annoyed that you've put it in no likey. I want it to, you know what? I want you to make a separate one underneath boring where it's just rubbish. Just hate it.
All right, let me just see if I can add a row. Hang on.
You can add a row.
Yeah. I'm just doing this for Vossi for the sake of the video. It's going to be another yellow, but Ashuri hates. And that's where it's going.
Do you know what? Yeah, that's probably the only one that's going to go in there, but it has to be in there.
It has its own separate section because of how much you hate it.
I hate it.
Right, the bit after that, where we're doing all the jumping between the towers and dodging all the, I won't say traps really, but like spike stuff and whatnot.
I don't mind this.
No, I don't mind this one at all, really.
I don't mind this. It's probably an air. It's not, it's not a memorable bit or whatever. It's fine. I've got no problems with it. It's not the hardest thing in the world either.
It's just something you have to take your time with. It's one. Yeah. If you take your time, it's easy, but it's boring. Like I'm not going to say it's boring on terms of the tier list, but it's just
it's an air.
I'm happy to put it in there as well. It is what it is. But the final boss fight, I'm not gonna lie, this knight is cool as F. I'm trying not to swear because YouTube.
I like I said, I hate this entire dungeon. Don't actually mind the boss fight.
No, the boss is quite good.
I don't mind it. I don't mind the fact that you've got to get the free orbs. I don't mind, all that.
If
it
anything,
can be tedious after a few times that you've run it.
I'll just say even after the times I've run it, I don't find this bit tedious. It's the only enjoyable bit of the dungeon for me.
That's true. That is actually very true. I would say
Not to mention, I
I'd
love
say-
the design of the knights as well. So
I'm gonna say memorable because I don't feel right putting it as an air when we put the other bit as an air.
this doesn't deserve this fit in air. This is memorable for
Yeah.
me as well.
Yeah.
Like even when I did the Solo Wars completion of this was the only bit of the dungeon I enjoyed. Prophecy Dungeon, probably the one we ran the most out of all the dungeons.
I kind of like this.
I kind of like it as a rule of thumb. It's got quite a few cool features, but again, very irritating places. But anyway, the entrance. I'm not gonna lie, this is the only part of the dungeon I don't like really.
I was gonna say boring because it's not even that long, but it is needed.
Yeah, it teaches you the light and dark
mechanics,
mechanic.
Yeah, it teaches you the mechanic that you're pretty much going to need to complete the entire dungeon.
Yeah.
So, for that, like I said, I would have gone boring, but I'd go no likey.
Yeah.
Just so it's above boring.
I prefer if this was done a bit differently.
You could have made it a little bit more challenging, potentially.
I wouldn't even say challenging.
Well, it's 2 rooms pretty much the exact same.
Yeah, that's what
So
I mean.
You could have done one room as like you did, and then maybe you could have like doubled it.
Yeah,
in a sense.
To have 4 pillars in the next room.
Yeah, and
I'd say not even that. Just have 3 pillars, but randomize it. Like that would have been good.
You could have done like once you've completed all 3 and the door opens, there could have been an ogre in front of you, something like that. Just to give it like a mini boss, little bit of challenge. Yeah, and I would have definitely put it in an at that point, but no likey's fair, I think.
Yeah, it's not mundane enough to be boring, but it's not good enough to be.
Yeah.
However, the first boss, this one for me does falling into air.
Do you know what? I'd have gone boring.
Why would you say boring? Why would you do that?
Because we, like I said, right, we're not the greatest Destiny players in the world.
No.
But it's one phase, man.
Yeah,
so
actually.
Easy.
Yeah,
what's annoying with it is it's such a small space as well.
Yeah.
There's no way to move around. It's like I like the challenging aspect of it, but after so many runs of it, it's not challenging anymore. And we're one phasing it as a pair as well. Like
you can one phase it as a solo as well.
Yeah, it's like it's really not that difficult. I've got to say boring. I have to.
You have turned me around a bit. I will give you boring for this one because again, one phase. It's nothing special on what's been done before, and as you say, it is a one phase. Anyway, desert section. When you first meet the boss,
don't mind it.
I think this is boring.
If I'm honest with you. I can see why, because obviously we've done it so many times. I like the element that they chuck the sparrows in. Like,
yeah, so you can move around quickly with Sparrow.
Yeah, you get to use your sparrows. You also get to do some cool tricks on the dunes as well, which I kind of like.
Yeah.
Also, the first secret chest is in this area as well.
Yeah.
The actual like what you've got to do is boring, but then at least it does change. Like it is different every time you do it.
Yeah, it is randomized. You have a point.
I haven't got a problem with it.
Okay, we'll put it in there. We'll go with it. Yeah. Now the cube.
I did used to hate this. I still don't know how to do it. I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I know you said like, oh, you look up and you can see. I still don't know. I looked up and I just saw nothing.
I'll have to tell you like 3 or 4 more times until it clicks.
Yeah, I ain't got a clue. I don't mind it. Again, it's like a changeable thing. Like it's not the same pattern every time. Then again, the bosses again.
The bosses you just
shreds. It's pointless.
Like I said, the mini bosses at the end, they're just kind of like an addition to it. They're not the actual encounter to me.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's boring, but I don't know likey. I'd say it's that level. Yeah.
I kind of want to put this in A, to be honest. It's one of them where it's there, it can be enjoyable, but after a while, it just becomes tedious. So I'm kind of wanting to put it in A.
Yeah.
But I do like...
I mean, it's fair.
I do like the design of it, though. I've got to admit.
The design is really cool. It does save it, I won't lie.
Yeah. I'll put it in here. Right. Hot Wheels Racetrack.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10 for you?
Yeah.
I'd put it in memorable, personally.
I'm fine with that. We have had some really good moments.
Yeah, because I'm thinking when we first saw it, it was like, oh, this is amazing.
Even
Now
even
it's
though
still fun.
even though it's the same thing every time, there's 3 different tracks
Mm.
basically. You can also run it if you want to be sad, but I find it funny.
Yeah.
I also find it funny that we still fail it from time to time.
Yeah, we still actually wipe from this.
Yeah.
And
So
it's like,
I'm happy to go like 10 out of 10 memorable. I just find it funny. Also, the secret chest's there as well.
the secret chest is there as well. You are
And
right.
we've had some stupid moments with that as well because
Yeah, we've had some
you can
idiotic
spawn the
moments.
sparrow.
You can spawn the sparrow right at the back for some silly reason.
And also, this leads to the mad spinny bit as well.
Yes, it
'Cause
does actually.
That
You have
does
made
count in this bit.
it. Yeah.
That does count. So I like the mad
Wait.
spinny bit.
When you go at the gravel lift and you can just spin forever. Yeah. No, you
Yeah.
make a very good point. I will put this in 10 out of 10.
Yeah, boy.
I do love the fact that you can spin really, really quick at the
Really,
end.
really quick. It was funnier on the small sparrow as well.
Yeah, the
It looked
micro
really
sparrow.
stupid. Really stupid.
Right, final boss for the prophecy dungeon. I'm going memorable.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
I don't mind
can't
it at
mind it.
all. Even
I
today, we nearly get it down to one phase, but
Yeah, we've been clawing our way to it, and we did have that funny. I think you've got the clip of it where I don't know if you put it out as a short where we kill it when he disappeared.
yeah, with the Hortix,
Yeah,
and it kills him as he's teleported away.
that was funny. That was
Yeah.
very funny. Yeah, memorable's fair.
I'm happy putting this. There's been a lot of memorable moments. We'll put it that way.
Again, like I think you said it at the beginning, the bit where you've got to get the light or darkness is always different with what you need. You might need 2 dark, 2 light, whatever. Also, the room flips, which I only
Yes.
noticed after like so many runs.
How
And I
did
was
you
like,
not notice?
Well, I didn't notice straight away, is what I'm saying. It was only when like I looked up and I was like, oh my god, we was there a minute ago. I kind of like that. Yeah, I was like, I kind of like that. That's really cool. I mean, obviously, if you one phase it, you don't experience that. I kind of think that's quite cool design. He is annoying when he fires the like wall at you and sends you back. That is annoying. But
Yeah, I think that's planned to be annoying, to be honest.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I think it's quite a cool cool boss battle.
Yeah, I'm happy putting this one in memorable. It's very cool.
Hmm.
All right, so now Shadow Throne, the entrance where you're chasing up all the symbols.
This is like pure heresy for me. I kind of just
Just don't like it as a general rule.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate it. But then at the same time, it's got so much of like, it's got kind of like Last Wish in it. So I kind of like, okay, if you don't get the chance to experience the raid, Shadow Throne is your best option to experience Last
Something
Wish in
similar.
a weird kind of way. Yeah. So
It's not the same, but I do get what
no,
you're
but
trying to
there's
say.
elements of it. You know, it's like it's definitely better than Pit of Heresy, but it's definitely still not one of my favorites.
Yeah. So where are we going to put the entrance? I'm kind of happy putting this in air.
I'd have gone no likey because there's not. The entrance is literally the bit where we run around and have to complete.
Yeah, it's all
Room
the
by room.
plates. Yeah.
Yeah, this is kind of like the bombs on Grasp, where you have to go from place to place to do a certain thing. I kind of hate that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's
But-
true, but I'm going to say this one I like more because not only is it random, you're not going around on teleport pads, you're actually running around and there's things in between that you have to deal with.
True, and this is why I would say no likey rather than
rather than boring.
Yeah.
I see what you mean. I'm happy to put this in no likey. Why are you going behind? Go there. Straight after the plates, there's there's that long corridor section with loads of minotaurs and the snipers basically along the walls.
I know.
I'm gonna say it, and then the section after that, the ogres with the pillars as well. I'm gonna count that as well.
I'm gonna be brutally honest with you. I hate this bit. I hate it. I love the level design. I love the entire dungeon for its design, but I hate this bit. It's just tedious. And also, like, you run it a few times, it kind of does get boring after a while. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I would say I would agree with you, but I am actually prepared to put this in air as well.
Okay.
Mostly because, like, for this section you just joined, the ogre section mostly saves it for me because I remember quite a lot of funny times for the ogre section.
True.
And on top of that, it's different Because like the ogres aren't there to be bosses; they're there just to push you off the pillars if you don't deal with them, which is different. So I'm happy with that.
I know what you're saying.
But like the actual long corridor wall of snipers and minotaurs, yeah, not great.
Would you say it's an air, or would you say it's more of a no likey?
Right, considering the fact that the cube is in the air, and I like the cube more than this,
Yeah,
I'll put this in no likey. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to go off of what we've already worked. Yeah,
that gauge it against what we already have.
That seems about the right place. No likey.
Yeah. Right, the first boss, which is the ogre boss. This is actually like reasonably difficult, even when I play it now.
Do you know what? Yeah, when we first run this, I honestly thought this was the end boss. I was like, this dungeon's super short, but I honestly thought this was the end boss. That's what it feels like to me.
It was not the end bosses.
No, it wasn't. After a few runs, it does get like semi easy. Like when you're running it as a team. Obviously, you've run it as a single, like solo, and it does look really hard as a solo.
It's amusing.
Yeah, I'd say it's an air. The element of like actually unlocking him's somewhat interesting. You build up the 4 things and then you trigger it and then you can kill him. He does go down pretty fast. You can kill him quite fast. I'll go air. I don't mind it.
I'm happy with air. I'll probably say that the best bit of this section is the fact that there is a time limit to it as well. Like, as soon as you pick up the first orb, you've got 45 seconds to get the rest of them or you'll wipe. Anyway. Next one is the throwaway, but I'm counting this as from when you beat the ogre all the way up to the end boss.
So
all the grab lifts and everything like that.
Do you know
grab lifts running around the wall on the side that shoots you off, all that kind of stuff.
I think we would be the only ones to. Well, it'd only be for me to put it in this place. I'm gonna say memorable because of some of the clips that have come from it.
What, like you talking about fucking being a lift mechanic?
I'm probably the only person in the world that actually thinks this is memorable, but it is memorable.
I don't think I'll rate it as highly as memorable. We've had some really funny moments come of it, don't get me wrong, but yeah, I can't warrant putting it in memorable when we got things like the traps, Pit of Heresy boss and things like that.
This includes the walls that explode that fire you off.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure there was a time when 3 of us was running it and we just kept getting shot off.
I'm pretty sure there would have been, yeah.
Yeah, and that to me was funny as well. It's memorable, but if you want to put it in air, I'm fine with that.
I'm happy to put it in air, to be honest.
Yeah.
Memorable, yes, because of the moments we've had, but as an encounter itself, I put it
as an encounter itself, it's not even an encounter. It's just run to this place.
Yeah, it's not.
There's nothing going on, but it's just funny. We've just had some really funny stuff from it, but yeah.
The final boss of the Shattered Throne.
This is the one with the 3 knights, isn't it?
3 knights. When you kill them, they drop the orbs. When you pick up all 3 orbs, you do silly damage to the boss.
Yeah, I kind of don't mind it.
I enjoy it because I think it's more the satisfaction of I love the knight design because they're probably the coolest looking knights in the game. I know someone else that we play with also says that. When you get them down to a certain amount of health, they charge you, which is a really big difference for the knights, which I quite like. And then obviously when they die, they drop buffs, which basically makes the entire encounter change, because if you don't have those buffs, it takes forever to kill it. I think it's the only dungeon boss where you actually get a buff that will boost your damage to kill it, if memory serves me right. Unless you want to count Caiatl in a way on Duality, but it's not really a buff, it's just bringing damage back to normal. Yeah, I'd say this one's memorable. I quite enjoy it.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, we shall put it into a memorable. Spire the Watcher, the latest dungeon that's come out.
This is going to be bad, because this is going to, to me, feel a bit more biased, because we've only run it like a handful of times, say.
Yes.
And it's pretty fresh, number one, and it's different as well.
Yeah,
so I'm kind of going to come across biased, but yeah.
For you, maybe biased. For me, not so much. I've played it enough to give it a proper kind of look at it, rather than saying it's new and it's amazing kind of thing. Anyway, entrance 10 out of 10. I'm joking. No, entrance for me, I kind of want to put this into memorable, to be honest with you, because it's completely different to any of the other entrances we've had come before.
I hate it because it's annoying with the is it the supplicants or whatever they're called?
Supplicants, yeah.
Yeah, they're the bane of my existence. But I do enjoy like what you've got to do. And I'll be honest with you, if you go off of any other like entrance to a dungeon, it's the one that really does chuck you into the deep end.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like it really just goes like with the tumbleweed as well. You think, oh, this is gonna be easy, right? And if you
No.
step up and you don't know what to expect, right? You step up and you shoot. I think there's a couple of goblins that are walking around. You shoot them in front of you. You don't even see the minotaur spawn behind you, which is the minotaur that you obviously need to kill.
Yeah, there's one that spawns behind you, one that spawns in front of you a little bit later, and then
So
the 4 Pantheon turrets that appear as well.
yeah, literally, it's really just like Bungie have like looked at this and gone, we could make this easy because it's the entrance, but do you know what? You all moan about it so many times of us making stuff easy. Just get on with it, and you're like, okay.
Just
so
all
I'm
hell
kind
breaks
of-
loose.
I honestly agree and go. I'd go with memorable. I really would.
Yeah, I really enjoy this as an entrance encounter. So, Spire the Watcher, I'm happy to put this into memorable.
Memorable, yeah.
Use that, yes, because it is a really good entrance encounter.
Mhm.
Right, the jumping puzzle. That's just slightly after this.
No offense, boring.
Oh, boring. Okay. Why?
It's just a jumping puzzle.
It's just a jumping puzzle. Yeah,
I haven't got a problem with it. I'm not saying it's terrible. It's just boring. It's just a jumping puzzle with a few enemies. It's the go between. If it was like a jumping puzzle and I needed to unlock some get to some buttons to unlock the lift that you need,
that would be good. Yeah.
That would have made a little bit more sense, and I'd probably would have gone maybe no likey, something like that. But
Like, for example, if they expanded it out to be around the entire elevator and center column, like there were just bits that you had to jump to flip switches to unlock the central grab lift and send you up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would actually be quite cool to do. I will give you that. I'll say boring as well. I was going to put it in but that boring makes a lot more sense.
No, boring's where it needs to be.
Right, the Ascent. That's what I call it anyway. I think it's called the Ascent.
Yeah, that's fair.
I know you're not going to like this. I personally love it.
I would say low, because I think after a few times of running it, obviously it's the same path every time, and if you get the where they are down, it doesn't take that long to get up there. That's the thing.
No, it doesn't take that long to get up there. But the only reason it doesn't take that long to get up there is because I'm normally quite quick. And I know where everything is, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But that to me then starts to get more and more boring as you start to get faster. It just becomes a area that is just there, like the jumping puzzle.
You say that, but I still enjoy doing this even today.
I think that will wear thin.
It might wear thin in the future, but at the moment where I've run it quite a few times, I still don't find this boring. It's probably.
Oh, I'm not saying it's boring. It's
definitely
not boring, but I'd say it's That's where I'm at.
I'll tell you what, now I'll give you the benefit of the doubt because you could be right. When I've ran this maybe 10 more times or 15 more times, then I might be going, it's an encounter. So, no, we'll go with
It's just an
Right, Harpy. I might make it another section here, but we'll wait and see. What did you think of it first?
I want to say memorable.
No, absolutely not. The only reason I'm saying that is because it's a carbon copy of the Garden of Salvation raid boss.
Okay, well, I've never done that.
I don't know. I can't forgive Bungie for doing that.
That's fair.
Obviously, you haven't done it, but when you do the Garden of Salvation, this boss shows up. You basically get to use this boss from the entrance of the dungeon all the way up to like the middle of the entrance of the raid all the way to the middle of the raid. And this is like the mid-raid boss. And the encounter is literally the same, apart from
shoot out the lights and
shoot its eyes, then it goes into its weird damagey phase and starts backing up. It's exactly the same.
Okay.
So like Bungie has not changed anything for the boss.
That's fair.
So
all right. So where would you put it then?
I was tempted to make another subject, calling it Bungie's criminal copying or something like that. But no, I'll put it.
Still, where would that lie?
It would sit just above boring.
Okay.
Because the encounter itself is not boring. It's just I don't like the fact that they've copied a boss.
So basically, you put it in no likey. Basically.
Yeah, no like is where I'm sitting.
I'll give you that because of the Garden of Salvation. Putting no likey, I think that's. Yeah. I think that's fair. Really.
If it was a completely new boss that did something similar, then I'd give it a pass. But the fact it is literally a copy and paste, I'm not happy with that.
I like the rest of the area though. I like that.
The design's incredible. I like the idea of the fuel rods where you got to connect them up. That's brilliant. But the boss itself was they could have done so much more with that, and they didn't. So,
No, that's fair. That's fair.
no likey is where you be banished to. You
No
bloody copy.
likey.
The descent. So through the middle,
okay.
down through the fans, and open up the rooms as you go.
It's kind of just in there. A bit like the Ascent. It's just kind of
same
whatever.
kind of quality. Yeah, meh.
Yeah.
I would agree. Nothing more needs to be said, to be honest.
No.
It's
No.
basically the same.
Yeah.
Final boss, the chicken.
I kind of like the chicken.
I like the chicken. Don't get me wrong.
I like it, and it's challenging, and there are different elements going on as well, which I kind of like.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of know-how to beat the boss.
Boss damage at the moment is a pain. I've obviously seen
And
quite a
it's
few clips of
pop.
people. I've seen clips of a lot of people like one phasing it and stuff, and I'm like, okay, fair enough. But I kind of like the fact that he is quite strong because it takes us a few as a pair, and it is still doable as a pair as well. This is the other thing.
It's doable solo as well. It just takes longer than the other bosses. Like for some reason, this boss just feels extra tanky.
This is one of them. Again, it's on the fence between, for me, memorable and air.
I personally would put it into air because
I want to, but then I'm putting it in with the Ascent and Descent, and I'm kind of like, I feel like it's better than them, if I'm honest.
yes, it is better than them.
Yeah.
No, I tell you what, I'll take that back because we've put the entrance to Spire in memorable. The whole run is in memorable. The vault's memorable as well, so it just feels right to put the chicken in there as well.
The chicken has
to
to go in there.
It kind of feels like it fits among them in a way.
It kind of has to go in there.
Yeah, because there's a degree of challenge with it, and at the same time, it's different in a way. Not to mention you have to do all the mechanics at once as well, and know exactly what's going on at all times. It's challenging enough.
Yeah,
but I'm happy with that. So that's pretty much going to be it. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with the dungeon list that we've done. Obviously, the link to this is in the description as well if you want to give it a go yourself. Something I will do as well, like a last minute note, if anyone's still watching this late in the video, because I have no idea how long this has gone on for. I will actually be updating these dungeon lists every season when something new comes out. So when the new dungeon comes out in season 21, I think it is, then I will add the encounters into this as well. Obviously, you're more than welcome to join me in doing that if you want, Meshuri. But for the raid one, I'll do the exact same when the raid comes out in season 20, but I'll be updating these as we go. But that's everything for the video. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to leave a like and comment down below, and I shall see you in the next one.